Hey, good afternoon. Pat Ziemer here with MagnaWave, coming to you today with our Tuesday edition of Office Hours. We try to be here every Tuesday. I'm here most of the time. Sometimes Elaine and I are together. Sometimes Elaine's by herself. But at any rate, I'm here with you today to have a conversation with you, answer your questions, whatever you might want to talk about with regard to MagnaWave. So all you got to do is put your questions in the chat box. I'll be able to see the questions and answer them for you. Or if you'd like to speak with me, give me a call at 502-414-3436. Just send a text to that number and with your question and name, or just send a text to that number with your name and I will call you back and we can have a conversation, again, whatever it is that you might want to discuss with regard to MagnaWave, machines, training, marketing materials, whatever it may be. So we're excited to be here with you to help answer those questions. Tony's with me today. Emily's with me as well, helping out and making sure that everything is flowing well, and all the other marketing folks are certainly on board helping us out. So Tony, I want to talk a little bit about the new book, the video book that we have that's going to be available for the practitioners. Do we have a video on that at any chance available?
We've got an example video that we used last week. I'll see if I can pull it up real quick.
Okay, yeah, if you can find that, we don't have to have, but I'll just kind of describe it. So what this is, this is not one of them, but it's something like this. It's a book, and when you open the book, there'll be a screen inside the book with 4 buttons that you can play 4 different videos. And so as a practitioner, you can pick which videos you want to have in the book, and they can be customized to your business, or they can be the standard videos that we have available, explaining PEMF, maybe talking about animal PEMF, talking about small animal PEMF. All types of videos will be available. So again, you can put your video in it, or you can have the stock videos that we have. So what you'll do is you'll take this book, you're working a show somewhere, and someone asks a question, well, what about this and what about that? While you're treating a horse, you can hand them this book, and there will be 4 30-second videos inside this book answering the questions. And they can be tailored to the point. Let's say that you're working on livestock, or you're working on pigs and show pigs, that type of thing. You could have 4 videos in this book that someone can open, have a look at, and learn much more about PEMF, learn about your business. And these will be available soon. I don't know exactly when they will be available. Coming up, I mean, they're ready to be in production now. We have a couple of them ready that are coming, but we're going to expand the library of videos that you can put into this video book, if you will. And so we're excited about that, and will be more information coming up about that as well. So here's what you can do. You can take this book, and let's say you're going to visit a farm, and you go visit them, and they're thinking about using your services, and you say, here, let me leave this with you, and you can take a look at it. I'll come back and pick it up tomorrow or the next day. Gives you 2 opportunities to talk with somebody. Give them the book. Let them spend time with it, because what they'll do is they'll take this book, this video book, and they'll show it to their spouse, they'll show it to their friends, and it'll be very busy for the next day or so that they're utilizing this book. And then again, you get the opportunity to go back and pick up the book and have more interaction with your customers. The cover will be able to have a way to customize the cover, again, with your business name or your business activity that you're pursuing. So it's pretty exciting, and it's coming along. And when Tony gets the video, he'll let me know, and we'll have a look at it so you can see more and learn more. So again, if you'd like to ask me a question, do you have it, Tony?
I do. It's ready.
You ready? All right, let's play it.
You've got
there you go. That's the video book that we're putting together for you that can be, again, totally customized. So we're very excited about that and looking forward to making that available to you. And you may have noticed on the book, one of the samples that we were showing there, this will be something that will have videos for you. We can make custom videos for you. If you want to do your own videos and then download them into the book for your own use, you can do that. So it's just going to be totally flexible and gives you a big screen presence right in the palm of your hand as you're building your business and talking with your customers and educating your friends, customers, and so on and so forth. So we're excited about that. But again, if you have a question, simply send me a text to the number 502-414-3436, and I'd be happy to give you a call back and answer your question, if you will. Or let me see if there's anything in the comment box. Let's see who's with us this morning. Sandy's with us. Stephen's with us this morning. Let's see, JD's with us. Angela's with us. Don's with us this morning. So a lot of good folks with us today. Let's see, is the backlog on rental machines getting any better? Good question, JD, and I'll have to find out for you. I know we've had a backlog type situation, and we're working to solve that. Perhaps Emily can check for me and give us an answer on that in the chat box here to see how the backlog is doing. Kevin has joined us on Castbox. We're on Castbox today as well. And Stephanie's with us this morning. Thank you. And so we're going to get some more information with you with regard to the rental machines being available. Let's see. Happy Tuesday. Good morning to everyone. Glad you're all here with us to spend some time. Again, if you have a question, just throw it in the chat box and I'd be happy to have a look at it for you and answer those questions. If we don't get any questions, I'll talk for a little bit and then we'll go on. But I know somebody's going to have a question. Kim's with us this morning. Good morning to Kim, and we'll be happy to answer your questions, whatever they may be about. Let me take a look here and have a look at Facebook real quick and see if there's anything posted on Facebook that maybe we can answer. Let me pull that up here. Let's see. Someone on Castbox says, your accent are too good. Don't know what they mean exactly, but there we go. Now I can't get into Facebook for some reason. Let me find the telephone, and I'm going to do it that way. Now I don't know where my telephone is. Well, you know, we're having a big time here this morning. Keeping up with everything we need to do to follow what's going on. Would you treat bad eyes in cattle? Thank you for the question. How would you treat bad eyes in cattle? Well, a lot of times when people treat eyes, they simply take the coil and put it near the eyes, and let's let the pulsing go in, let the pulsing improve the circulation in the eye, let it help the strength of the eye as it's pulsing the area. So you might want to explore that and use it in that fashion, but that's what you would do. That's what I do. I had cataract surgery almost a year ago now, and I treat myself with the LZR, and I have how do I describe this? I have kind of my eyes get watery very easily, and so I've learned that with the LZR, and I just close my eyes and I put the LZR right on my eyes and let it penetrate through the lids. I don't have my eyes open. It helps that problem. It helps take away the dryness or the wetness of the eye, and makes it more comfortable for me. So I'm not, blinking all the time because I feel like I'm teary, but I'm not teary. It's just a wetness that occurs in my eye. I'm very sensitive to light now that I wasn't before. I almost always have to wear my sunglasses, which is fine because I'm seeing 20/20 that I haven't seen 20/20 for probably 30 years, and farsighted and nearsighted. But so I use the LZR for that, and I'll do this. But I'll do the same thing. I'll take the butterfly loop and hold it right up to my eyes like this and let it go for 3 or 4 minutes on a comfortable setting. I don't want to make it uncomfortable, so I do that. Well, I would assume that you would, or I would presume or recommend that you would do the same thing with a cow or a small animal or large animal, horse, whatever it may be, to help improve the overall situation and circulation within the eye. What you're doing is you're setting the body up, the eye up, to better take care of itself. So if there's something there, if there's inflammation deep into the eye causing a problem, if you can help relieve that inflammation, you can maybe relieve the situation that's causing the problem. So that's what I would have a look at as far as treating bad eyes in cattle. You might also use the HydroWave, spray the HydroWave, the concentration, 50-50 concentration of HydroWave, just mist that into the eye and then treat. And if there's any bacteria or any infection in there that's causing a problem, that HydroWave silver oxygenated water is going to help that type of situation as well. So we've got some opportunities there to deal with the eye issues. Now, also you've got C60. You could take C60, put it in some of their food or on treats and treat the animal regularly. And I've had people that have had C60 to help their eye issues as well. So you've got some alternatives, but I would simply put the coil at the eye that you're having problems with, or both eyes, and treat away for 3 to 5 minutes on a very comfortable, moderate setting to get good penetration into the eye. Let's see. Find the, okay, eyes. Good morning. Currently on my horse riding, so we'll see how this goes. On my horse riding, we'll see how this goes. I'm about to give a session to someone with Crohn's. I've read everything about your practitioner's page. Any more input? Thank you. No, the practitioner page pretty well covers if you're dealing yourself with those types of issues. Again, what we're doing in as far as helping the blood flow in the body and the blood oxygenation in the body is to allow the body to feel good, to be well, and to allow itself to better heal itself. And so that's the situation. So you want to treat the overall area of pain, treat the overall area of the body to allow for good oxygenation, good blood flow, good comfort, and away you go. And hopefully it's a situation. Everyone is different. Every animal is different. So you need to just approach it from that type situation. You certainly always want to check with your veterinarian or your doctor that you're dealing with in those types of situations, so they understand what you're doing and you can proceed accordingly. So I hope that helps a little bit. Okay, let's see. Can you tell me how MagnaWave helps with abscesses? Sure. Basically, you have an abscess in a hoof, and you want to clear it. So you have the inflammation, you have the buildup of pus, the buildup of what's going on, and you need to try to relieve that. You need to try to get that out of there. So when you pulse that area of the foot, you're doing that, and it just gets all the circulation going and everything moving as you would like it to do. And we found a few years ago, after a couple of treatments, 1, 2, maybe 3 treatments on as high a setting as the animal will tolerate, you can get those abscesses to blow, to move, to become free, and to therefore allowing the situation to heal itself at that point. So all we're trying to do, again, is move the circulation in the area. But that's how you would do it. At the beginning, what we would do is we would bring the hoof up and hoof in the air, so the horse is on 3 legs, and then you would treat the bottom of the foot with the butterfly. Now with the zoom box and the zoom paddle, you simply put the paddle inside the box, put the foot, the hoof on top of the zoom box, and you turn it up and you can move it and get it cleared up. We've had this success. We've seen this success on abscesses with all of the devices. It's not just the highest powered devices that do it. Now with the semi machines and so forth, you may have to do it a little longer, not 8 or 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. But I've seen that be aid in the relieving and eliminating the abscesses very effectively in that fashion. With the smaller machines, turn them up as high as they'll go and treat away. With the larger machines, turn it up to the point that the animal will allow you to use it. In most cases, when you're treating an extremity, a foot, they'll allow you to pretty much turn the machine all the way up and treat, and hopefully get the result that you're looking for. Again, you always know that if you've got a very complicated situation, you want to check with your veterinarian and make sure that they're on to what you're doing. Sandra Snell writes, LZR for cattle eye. MW may damage federal cattle ID ear tag. Great idea, Sandra, using the LZR on the eyes. We've tested the devices with all kinds of implants for identification that they put in the horses and cattle. It's a good question on the ear tag. We probably need to research that and make sure that we don't have any damage or any mess with those ear tags, because that's very important how they're done. Thank you for bringing that up, and we will check that out and try to get some further information for you. But the LZR, Sandra is absolutely right, would be very beneficial for those types of situations. Let's see. Thank you, Sandra. Hazel's in northern Michigan. Catherine's with us this morning. Hannah's with us this morning. Okay, due to the pandemic causing worldwide supply chain, our normal timeline may be delayed. We apologize for any inconvenience working with the availability of the rental devices. And we're no different than anybody else. Our manufacturers are having difficulty getting some parts. I mean, all of a sudden it'll be very small part, might only be $1 part. Bingo, you can't get them, and you look all over the country and they can't find them, or they're told it'll take 3 months to get them. It's just really a challenge. We've been very lucky through this whole process that it really has not impacted us tremendously with regard to availability, but we have run into situations because of the pandemic that makes it difficult for the manufacturers to secure all the parts or all the pieces they need to build the machines in a fast fashion as they used to be able to do. So that is the situation, and we certainly apologize, and we're sorry that we have those issues, just as many people do. We were talking yesterday with the manufacturer for the pads, the mats that we have. They're talking about vinyl being out months to get the color vinyl that we want. So we even changed the color of the vinyl for the mats in order to be able to get the material that's antimicrobial, so we can have that the way you want it, cleanable, and to have that available. So we're looking at changing even the color in order to get the materials that we need. So we're stuck in this just like everybody else, but we're dealing with it, and we're going to make it work and hang in there as best we can. Leilani's with us this morning from Aiken, South Carolina. I understand she just moved. We just moved, so moving is a big job. I've learned a long time ago, if you think you're going to move in a day, you're not. It's going to take you 3 days. And then the old thing is, if you think you're going to move for $1,000, it's going to cost you $2,000 or whatever the number is, or whatever you got to do. It's just those types of challenges, and it always gets more involved than you think. But we made it. We're in. Everything's comfortable, and I'm in my new studio now. And this is the second broadcast. Last week I wasn't here because of the move and everything going on, but we're ready to go now. So if you have any questions, put them in the chat box, and I'd be happy to answer them for you. And let's see, one side. Rocky asked, my eyes become red on one side. What should be good to do? Well, Rocky, what I would do is, as I was describing, is use a MagnaWave coil on your eye and get good circulation there and improve the healing process. Or, as Sandra pointed out, use the LZR, which I do for my cataract surgery because of moisture in the eye or wetness in the eye, and it just helps that much easier. Makes it clearer. That's my issue. I get some sensitivity, and it almost impedes my vision because I've got just so much watering going on. Not tearing, just moisture. And a lot of people don't have enough moisture in their eyes, and I have more than I need. But what do you do? What do you say? You just keep going forward. All right, let's see if there's any other questions here. Let me check and see if anyone sent a message. Nope. 502-414-3436 if you'd like to talk to me. And I'd love to do that, because quite often when we have a conversation, we get much deeper into the conversation and much deeper into the subject, and as we converse, as opposed to you typing a question and my answering it off the top of my head quickly. But it's so often I've learned that you guys are so good that you answer a question that I'm answering, and the conversation in the chat box just gets more and more answers that are excellent. And it's it's so rewarding to me. It makes me feel so good that everybody is learning and they're expanding their horizons and they can answer questions and for their customers and what's going on. So that's great. Let's see some new comments. Perhaps we have a question. Do the airlines require any special treatment if you're flying with your machine? They don't really require special treatment. You do want to, what I always recommend is do not check your machine as baggage or luggage, because they'll move it on and off of those carts and they're around the airport and they throw the luggage from one place to another. And we don't really want to toss these machines around very much. It's just not good for them. But if you have to do that, do it, but be careful. If you have to do that, sometimes put it in a box, which protects the wheels more than anything else. The wheels can get damaged as the machines are moved around. But what I always recommend is you check it at the gate. So you take your machine through, it goes through TSA. If you've never been through TSA and it's the first time for you, or it's a new airport for you, it could take a little time, because they'll look at it, they'll X-ray it, they'll swab it to make sure that it's not dangerous or not a bomb. Because on the inside it can look a little bit like the bomb with the capacitor and the diodes and everything that's in there. It can look a little threatening. In fact, when I was leaving Dubai back in 2007, they wouldn't let us out easily, because they just knew that we had something dangerous in that gray box that we were carrying with us, and had to show the Sheik's card to some folks and say, no, we're here as guests and we're doing this, and so they let us go. But we went through a lot of conversation about that. So when you travel, take it with you. Make sure, it always helps to maybe have a veterinary brochure with you that explaining what it is, and that you can physically hand it to someone and they can read it. They can read your brochure or your business card and see, oh, okay, and see how it is used. And that just helps clarify their questions that they may have. So again, it can take a little time to get through. First few times, I know flying out of Louisville, the first few times we did it, it was always an hour or a long time discussing it with them, having them swab it and everything they did. And this was all pre 9/11, but still it was something that we had to do. But now they see it, they've seen us, they know what's going on, and we can go through a lot easier. Check it at the gate. That way they'll put it in the aircraft, and then you get it right back when you land and take it to your next destination. And if you're changing planes and they're moving luggage, typically that happens better than from the beginning of the luggage process to the initial aircraft. So if they check it and it'll be with you when you get to where you're going, it'll stay with that particular aircraft. So nothing special, nothing has to be. Mario's with us this morning. Hey, Mario, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining us. We're glad you're here. And it's always fun to visit with Mario and see what's going on. Maybe he's got some information for us today. Stephen asked the question, does it work for diabetes? Well, it works for good blood oxygenation, good blood flow. And if you're doing everything that you should do for your diabetes with regard to diet and so forth, can it help your overall wellness of the body and allow the body to better function as it is designed to do? Yes. And there have been folks that have utilized it in that fashion. My wife has some diabetic issues, and she uses the machine religiously. For those who have diabetes and suffer with some neuropathy issues, it can help the circulation in the feet and in the hands. So certainly there, it can relieve that, keep things flowing the way we want it to. So always discuss that with your doctor as you're going forward. We don't make any claims. We're not a medical device. We're a health and wellness device that people use with a lot of different situations, and they feel better, and their body, their blood flow and everything is improved, and that can help the various conditions that someone may be dealing with. So I hope that works. Mario just went through TSA about 6 minutes ago. Where are you flying, Mario? Where are you going? That man moves around a lot. Mario and I first met Debbie and I in San Diego. We were there for a marketing conference, and Mario and I had some conversations via text and email prior to this conference, and we both wound up at the same conference by happenstance, actually, and we met in the airport and stayed in the same hotel while attending this marketing conference back in 2011, actually. And so a lot of good things have happened. Marketing has worked well for MagnaWave and for us and for Mario as well. So that's one of the reasons that we work very hard. Elaine's marketing classes, business builder classes that she conducts are wonderful and gives a lot of good information. And you can sit back talking about that. A person can sit down and think, well, I know I need to do social media, or I need to do this, and I need to do that better, and I need to create content over here. But sometimes we just need somebody else to say, yeah, you need to do all that, but do it this way. Or come over here and think about it from this perspective, and it just opens your eyes to something that you already know, or someone has already told you. Funny situation, and it's a very true story, but I was going to these marketing conferences and I hired a business coach to help me out. And at one point in time, I agreed to go to spend a day with this business coach in their office and really get deep into what was going on. And we'd had 2 or 3 telephone interviews prior to the conference, also in San Diego, where this gentleman was located. And the fee for this course was $10,000. And which was, that was a big deal. It's a huge deal. It's still a huge deal. That's a lot of money to spend for one day, 3 or 4 hours of telephone conferences, and then one day, which you only get 4 or 5 hours out of that day by the time you have breakfast, lunch, dinner, the whole 9 yards. But went to the conference, paid the gentleman $10,000, got there. He gave me a lot of good ideas, told me what I should be doing, what I shouldn't be doing, broke my day down as to how many hours a day I spend doing this, how much time you spend doing that. And all of a sudden you look at it, you're wasting a lot of time through the day. And so he charted out what I should not do and what I should do. And I came home and I thought, well, I got some great notes. And my wife looked at me and she said, I've been telling you that for 10 years. And she was right. But you just need sometimes to have someone else tell you. So that's always good to have a mentor. If you're building a business, it's always good to have somebody there, because people will tell us, but we have to listen. And sometimes it takes a dedication to something to listen, or to all of a sudden have that bell go off in your head that says, whoop, I need to do that. And if I do just this, it's going to change that. And that's what happened, and it was a good deal, actually. And my wife was actually okay with it. Everything was fine, but it was funny. She just looked at me and she said, I've been telling you. She was right. She had been telling me. Okay, let's see. There's some business builder classes. Mario just went through TSA again, and folks are with us on CastBox. We're happy about that. Let me check and see if we've had anybody send us a message. Oh, healing. Yes, we have a question here. Let's come up here and give a call. COPD, let's ring it up here. Leg pain. Here we go.
Hello.
Hello, Pat Ziemer here.
Hi, Pat. This is Tracy Walker Bush.
Hey, Tracy, how are you?
I'm doing just fine. My question is, I have been working with my father from a distance. I got that soul machine for him to keep at his house, and I've had him on several different protocols. He's got COPD, and he has a lot of lower leg pain. And I've tried several different protocols, including every one of them includes overall body and foot, putting it below the feet for foot acupressure, and then and also treating the lungs and treating the legs. He's getting not a lot of improvement. He's getting some improvement, but not a lot. And I'm trying to figure out a different direction.
How long's it been?
It has been about 3 weeks, and I have him working a different protocol for about 5 days, and then off 3, and then go back to it.
Right. If he's seeing some improvement, let me ask you this. What's his age?
He is 76.
76. He's a young guy. I can say that. You know, part of the problem is what is the severity of the damage? We've had that with people that have neuropathy type of situations, that it's very advanced. The more advanced it is, the harder it is to get it to reverse. How long has he had the situation?
Well, it's just, I mean, he's been a horseman for many years, and it's just gradually built probably over the last 5 years.
Yeah, so yeah, there's some time there that has allowed it to develop. And so if it took 5 years to, I'm not going to say it's going to take 5 years to relieve it, but as you've heard me say many times with my wife Debbie's back issues with the herniated discs, it took us 3 months to get some relief, to where she got 3 or 4 weeks worth of relief from 1 or 2 treatments. But it took us 3 months to get there. And so you want to, as Dr. Dreesen has always pointed out, as long as he's continuing to improve, or the function continues to improve, continue to treat. Now, if it's been 3 weeks, I hate to say it, but it could take a few months to get it to where he's at least content with how he's feeling, and hopefully you can get it to reverse totally. Hopefully you can get it to where you have better mobility and everything, the pain is relieved to that point. And so it could take some more time. And I know that that's not always the situation, because maybe the machine's only rented for a month or 2 months, whatever the situation may be, or if it's purchased and he can hang on to it, then that would be the thing to do. But we all want it to be quicker than it sometimes is, but it can take some time. And I think changing up the protocols is a good thing. You know, you're improving the blood flow to the whole body just by treating the upper body and the lungs. And so that good oxygenated blood flow is going to go everywhere into even his legs and lower extremities. But have a look at that. Well, the other thing that you might do, Tracy, would be look at the acupuncture points for the areas of discomfort, and treat those as well. Treat those areas as well with the coils. And you don't have to be right on it. You just need to be near it if you know where it is, or the general location of it. So that would be a thought also. Do the protocols, but treat those specific acupuncture points. Now you're doing it by treating the bottom of the feet. You're treating the whole area as well, from the standpoint of treating the feet. What do they call that? Reflexology. So you're hitting the reflexology points. Does that help?
It does. I kind of was wondering if am I doing right by doing 5 days on and 3 days off? Should I extend that off period, or?
I wouldn't do 5 on, 3 off in this type situation. I would do maybe 5 on, 1 off. You don't want to over detoxify him. You want to allow him to be more normal in his toxic, or normal toxicity, let's put it that way. And you don't want to take someone to the point that they take on flu-like symptoms because they're totally detoxified and they feel weak. So by taking a day off, or maybe sometimes 2 days, but I don't think you'd have to do that. I think you would treat him. How long is the protocol? How long are you treating him a day?
His protocol is about 40 minutes.
Okay.
On the sole.
Okay, so I'd go 5 or 6 days, take a day off, every 2 weeks, maybe do 2 days off, and but I would keep going as much as you can. If he's feeling fine, I keep going. And if he's out doing things and working and in the fields and on the farm and so forth, you don't have to being toxin free or having less toxicity to the body is not going to occur as readily as someone who may be inside, not outside, good air all the time. And so it could affect them a little differently. But it's like a horse. It's very hard to detoxify a horse because they're always on the ground eating, hay and all that stuff that they're doing. And so it's a never ending battle from that perspective. So I believe I'd go if you want to do 5 or 6 days, take a day off, 5 or 6 days, take a day off, 5 or 6 days, maybe 2 days, and just play it from that type of situation. Or you might get to the point that you do every other day for a week, and then every day for a week, every other day for a week, every day for a week, and approach it from that perspective.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay, Tracy, thanks for calling. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Wow, great question, and hope that is helpful. In what we learned this the hard way when we were dealing with my wife's herniated discs, trying to get her comfortable and get it to where she could have good movement and no pain in her neck and shoulders. We treated her every day for 30 minutes, and we did that for 30 days, and all of a sudden she was detoxified to the point that she took on flu-like symptoms, and we didn't know what it was. And so we started asking around, talking to the various manufacturers and doctors that had used PEMF, and they said, oh yeah, you need to lay off every once in a while so someone does not detoxify too rapidly or detoxify over a period of time. And so that's where we talk about, and then what we did after that is we treated her every other day for another 60 days, basically, and to get the result that we were looking for. And this now goes back to 2007, so a long time ago, to 17, 20, to 14, 15 years ago. And she has total mobility, no pain in her. She goes to the doctor and they do an x-ray and they think, my God, ma'am, we got to do something about your back. You're really messed up back there. Doesn't that hurt? No, doesn't bother me at all. And she treats herself when she has a little pain or situation, and she just keeps right on going. So she can get 3 to 4 weeks of good mobility and no pain out of 1 or 2 treatments. Now, when she's moving like we just did, or when she's dealing with the grandkids, picking up, putting down, so on, she maybe needs to treat herself a little more often. But that's how we got to where we wanted to be with her, and it worked, and that's a good type of situation. Okay, let me come back over here, see if there might be anything in the, oh my, here's a question. Can you explain, if someone has issues from mold and Lyme disease, what would you recommend? Well, mold's a tough one. I mean, mold is a chemical type of situation, reaction within the body that is a poisoning type of situation. So you need to make sure that you're trying to clean the body. And, if the doctor's got you doing something there, certainly stay away from the mold, good clean air and so forth. But to treat the lungs, to get good blood flow, good oxygenation in there to help the body better heal itself is something to certainly look at. Lyme disease, a lot of people have used these devices on their animals and learned that they could help themselves feel better, and they would basically treat the area of pain. Lyme disease will focus on various areas of the body, and it differs from client to client where they may have those issues and how they want to deal with them. But if you're going to use a device like ours, a wellness device to just help the body feel better, I'd put it right where they're having the pain and treat often. And we've seen people get relief. I know one doctor that I was trying to talk to about utilizing PEMF in their practice. They're equine chiropractors and human chiropractors, and I just had tough time getting through to them to talk about PEMF. And the doctor, the woman doctor of the couple, had a Lyme issue, and she treated herself one time with PEMF, and the situation was abated, and she became a believer overnight. Now she had to subsequently do it some more, but she just got relief that she had never had after just one treatment. And that was, she treated the area, it was on her inner abdomen, and she was able to treat her lower chest cavity and was able to treat the area one time and got some relief that was wonderful. So that's how I would approach certainly the Lyme situation, and wherever there's pain, treat that area. But I'd also treat to get the chest from the back, the lungs from the back, because it's closer to the lung itself. You don't have the resistance of the rib cage. And I would treat the lungs to get good blood flow and good oxygenation. Where's that going? To the whole body. So treat the area of issue, and then treat the lungs so you can get good blood flow to the entire body. to look for the result that you want in the health and wellness that we're trying to deal with. Okay. Can you please explain the concept of doing too much and creating toxic issues? Well, the system aids in detoxification. It helps the body to detoxify. And so if you take someone, as a rule, it's not an issue typically. And because when I first treated someone, if they're uncomfortable and they wanted to feel better, and I would take the machine and put it on their back, I'd do it for 3 to 6 minutes, and that was it. And they would get some relief, and then we'd do it again the next day, or we'd do some more. But sometimes someone will treat a person and they'll maybe they've got a shoulder issue and they turn the machine pretty high because it feels good to them and it's helping the situation, or they treat that and they might go for 30 or 40 minutes, all the while you're detoxifying. And there's a reaction that somebody can have and to that and be very uncomfortable and not feel good. And we don't want to cause that reaction. So the secret is, or not secret, I hate to use that word. The idea is to utilize the device for a short period of time for the first few treatments, so someone is used to it, they know how they're feeling, and then build your time accordingly. But it really doesn't take, and I've always said this, 6 to 8 minutes is a normal treatment time. If you're treating a specific area, 6 to 8 minutes is fine. Any more than 15 minutes on an area, it's like vitamins. You take vitamin C, you may take a bunch, but half of it's leaving you because you don't need it. The body sloughs off what it doesn't need. Same thing goes on here. You put energy into the body's going to accept the energy that it can, and then if it's too much, it's like spraying water on yourself. You get wet, you're wet. You keep spraying, you're still wet. And so you got to nothing changes until you turn the hose off and you dry off. Well, so that's the situation here, and that's what happens with detoxification. Some people, maybe 1 out of 100 is the number that I've normally used over the years, are so sensitive to the electromagnetic fields. They're also sensitive to their TV being on, or their microwave, or the high power wires outside, the power lines that are putting off EMF constantly. People that are very sensitive, sometimes that's because they're very toxic. They have a high toxicity in their body, and so it makes it very uncomfortable for them. And so 1 out of 100 people cannot hardly be treated with our devices at all. It just makes them very uncomfortable. Well, sometimes if someone is toxic, and most people don't run around or walk around every day and say, I wonder how my toxicity is today, or do I need to detoxify a little bit? Now, some people detoxify once a month, or they're always on some type of green tea regimen to keep their toxins at a level that they feel boosts their immune system, and they go and they live accordingly. Well, that's a situation. And so what we don't want to do is take so many toxins away that someone has a reaction or someone takes on flu-like symptoms very rapidly. So that's kind of what happens and how it goes. So we always talk about treating just at a very moderate setting for a short period of time for the first couple of treatments, so someone does not, it's kind of like a deep tissue massage. If you've ever had a deep tissue massage and you get up off the table, you're sore, it hurts. But the next day you feel wonderful. Well, the beauty of what we're doing is you don't have to do that. We can get deep into the tissues without putting so much pressure or so much heavy pulsing that it makes them sore. And so that's the way to approach it. You want to approach it, comfort is the key. What I always have done, if I'm treating a man particularly, a man will say, oh yeah, boy, that feels good. I can, how does it feel? Oh, I can handle that. If someone says I can handle it, I turn it down. Or I can take that, I turn it down, because I don't want to give them too much movement, too much energy to a joint or to a shoulder or wherever it may be, that they're sore before they feel better the next day. We don't have to do that. That's one of the beauties of what we've got. Whereas with deep tissue massage, you get a deep tissue massage, you're sore. You're going to know it when you get up off that table. I once had a guy take me and Debbie. We were out in California, another meeting in California. And he said, I want to get you guys a massage. He took us to this place and they were walking on my back. And I wasn't very happy with that. Although the next day it was pretty cool. I felt good. But that day I felt like I'd been walked over or run over by a truck. And but we don't need to do that. So I hope that helps when you talk about toxic issues. You just want to just treat in a manner that makes someone feel better, and you don't have to do it at maximum power or at maximum time the first time out. And that's typically when that type of reaction occurs, is when somebody is doing it pretty strong and they do it for a longer period of time, and you're detoxifying that person, and whoop, I feel lightheaded, or oh, I don't feel so good, I'm having a reaction. It'll pass, and it always does, but that's just, you want to be understanding of that when you are first learning. I learned the hard way. I had a guy come up to me, and it wasn't detoxification. I had a guy come up to me. He was a paratrooper. He was an aerial photographer, and he worked horse shows. And he said, "Man, my back is hurting me. Can you help my back feel better?" And I said, "Well, I can sure try." And so we put this thing on his back. And he said, "I don't feel anything. I don't feel anything at all." And so I'm turning it up, and I'd only had my machine for a couple of days. It was the Harrisburg Horse Show, National Horse Show in Harrisburg. It was either last of August or last of September, 1st of November. And so anyway, I'm treating this gentleman, and he came back the next day. He said, "I can't hardly walk." And I thought, well, I don't understand. You didn't feel it. Well, I broke my back 5 times. I don't have any feeling in my back. Hello. I learned a lesson that day. Number one, ask questions of the owners of the horses and the animals that you're working on. What's going on? Always check with veterinarians. And if someone wants to try to feel a little better and have better wellness with the device, ask them questions. What's going on? What kind of history do you have here? And you're not trying to diagnose. You're just trying to find out what's comfortable and what's not comfortable to someone. Comfort is always the key. And so that's what happened there. But just as a sidebar to that story, the next day, the gentleman felt wonderful. So it was like a deep tissue massage, basically what I did for him. But didn't need to, but I didn't know. I didn't know that he'd broken his back 5 times and jumping out of airplanes and aerial photography and all the stuff that he'd done. But I found out, and then it's always good to learn those things and to move forward accordingly. Okay, let's see. We have some new comments, but here's, let me come back. Our daughter-in-law has had complications after her surgery and wound up with a wound about 3 fingers wide and 2 inches deep. We started treating her with the LZR, and it has been a blessing. Her doctor is amazed at how fast her wound is healing and seeing the new skin growth. We are waiting to tell the doctor on what we are doing until she is healed. We have seen the LZR help with relieving pain in different areas and different clients, relieve sinus issues, relieve herpes, heal faster, and relieve, is there more? Nope, that's all I got on there. How do I get rid of this now? Nope, there we go. And so that's great. The LZR is a wonderful addition. I was telling you earlier how I use it on my eyes after my cataract surgery, just to help keep the wetness in the eye controlled, so I don't have any blurriness because of the fluid on the eye. So it's a very good, it works very well hand in hand with the MagnaWave and what you're doing. So great, Dawn, thank you. Great story. Thank you for sharing it. You answered this, I think. I was curious about horses specifically. Let's see. Oh, okay. So Casey was talking about horses when she was talking about toxicity, toxic issues. Horses, it's good for horses to be detoxified and have good toxin levels as they should be. Again, the doctor can tell you how they feel about the toxicity of an animal and what maybe needs to be done to help the detoxification process. But horses are very, in my estimation, in my experience, because they're eating grass and hay and rolling around on the ground, they are picking up plenty of toxins all the time, and utilizing them, or not utilizing them, but having them in their body. So if you do things to help keep the toxic level under control, or toxin level under control, then that would be good. And the MagnaWave and the PEMF can certainly be a benefit to that process. All right, let's see. I have a client asking about horses' recovery from a snake bite. Skin sloughing off, lots of swelling under the vet care. They're thinking they may have put the horse down. Thoughts on MagnaWaving the animal? I certainly would MagnaWave the animal to try to get good blood flow, good healthy blood flow to the area. I treat the area of the snake bite. Certainly clear this with a veterinarian though. But if they're thinking, we had this with colic. For years, the veterinarians were saying, don't treat horses with colic. You know, they might need surgery. They might need this and that. And then all of a sudden, a horse trainer out in Texas, thoroughbred trainer in Texas, had a horse that the vet said, I'm going to come out tomorrow and put it down. And so she had a MagnaWave, and Donna was her first name. And she called the vet, and she said, I'm going to do MagnaWave. I'm going to MagnaWave his bowel and his area and so forth. And the vet said, go ahead, you know, I'll see you tomorrow when we put the horse down. Well, she did that for about 30 minutes and maybe longer. Her routine was to treat the area for, I believe, for 5 minutes, get the horse up, try to, or have it walk. It would be walking, which it was at times during the treatment. And with the next day, the horse was fine. And that horse was prone to colicking, so they had the situation over the years, but they always kept it under control. And when we started sharing that with veterinarians and seeing then they would come and they would understand and they would recommend, let's do it this way or let's do it that way. But you need to be very clear and concise with your veterinarian as to what you're going to do. But certainly in this kind of situation, why not give it a shot to see if you can help the blood flow to the area, help the thing to heal up and to get some situation in check. Now, if certainly I've had people ask about snake bites, and if they're snake bites and they're going to do an antidote for the animal or for the whatever's going on, you want the antidote to do its job. Antidote to do its job, and then come back and try to treat the area to heal the wound and to get this situation back in control. You don't want to do it immediately and spread the poison, which you can do certainly because we're going to we talk about topical things being be absorbed into the body by utilizing this therapy. So, but if you're in a situation where it's not getting any better and they're concerned about it, certainly I would give it a try. We've seen a lot of things. I had a horse in Florida a few years ago that had a brown recluse bite on its back, and they could not get that thing to heal. It was just an open sore, just getting larger. When I was first started with it, it was probably a good 4-inch diameter wound on the top of the horse, right in the area of the saddle. And so of course, couldn't saddle the horse, couldn't do anything. The horse would roll on, and it was really a problem. And so we used a little machine to provide oxygen to the wound, and then we would treat with the MagnaWave. And within a couple of weeks, we had it to where it was healed over. No hair, nothing like that would come, but at least it was healed over. And but it became very trying because we could get it to that point. I mean, brown recluse spider bites are just horrendous, and because there's a lot of issues going on. But it took probably an entire winter season of treating this horse regularly to where we got it to where it was pretty much gone. But it was a real challenge, and you'll have those situations, and that could be something here. And the docs thought, well, this, I don't know what we're going to do, and this isn't going to work. Try that, and let's see what happens. And so we were pretty happy with how it played out in that situation. So let's see. New comments here. All right, help. A man I am treating has enlarged red blood cells. Could this be because they're more oxygenated and healthier? Well, if you go to the website and you look and you see the comparison between before and after a PEMF treatment on the blood cells, if there's ROLU is when the cells are stacked up like a group of roll of quarters, and the oxygen can only get in on the edges of on the side of the blood cells. Well, what happens is we start putting oxygen in there, and then they break up, and then you look at the picture, you got blood cells moving around, smoothly, nice oval size, and at the same video, you'll see the white blood cells be doubled in size almost, because they have good oxygenation and they're in good healthy state. Same thing takes place with the red blood cells. I don't know if I've ever seen where the cells actually get larger and going through that type of situation, but that's certainly a question for the doctor and what's going on there. But good oxygenation will certainly make them healthier and appear to be, they won't look shriveled, let's put it that way. And so they could appear to be larger in that situation. But we're not doctors, and we can't say that specifically. If there's something that's causing that, that's certainly something to talk about with the doctor. And there could be something going on there that you may not want to MagnaWave regularly or whatever, as long as the doctor understands what's going on. So that's what I would check. But certainly, we've seen the videos, we've seen the the microscopy, dark field microscopy that shows the difference between before and after treatments, and how the cells look larger, healthier, and flowing more freely through the body. There you go. Let's see. PMF fixed my recluse bite. There you go, Lisa. Thank you for saying that. I'm thinking HydroWave topically as well as internally. That's an answer to a question that someone has. Let's see. John says, hiya, just back very late at the party. Okay. We'll have to go back and catch up. Hope all is well. Yes, John, all is well. I got your email yesterday. I'm taking a look at that, and I'll get back to you on the information that you were sharing. The blood flow, there you go. The blood flow document has been uploaded. So if you've never seen that, you can click that link and have a look at the before and after on the blood flow. Larger red blood cells are possible. Megablastic anemia. I have this, fewer cells, but they are larger. Kathy's addressing that situation. It's called megablastic anemia with larger blood cells. The key there, and again, of course, you always want to be working with a doctor or certainly follow any doctor's recommendations as to what you're doing to help the body's wellness. But if it's a situation that they're healthy and they're feeling good, they just got larger blood cells, if the doc's happy, you be happy. There you go. When the Semi 5 Duo be available again? That's a good question. We are having some issues on back orders on those devices, and coming from California on the Semi 5 Duo, and we'll have a look at that and get you an answer posted accordingly. Thank you. I've seen the blood video and even add a couple of screen shares for them. That's why I asked. Thanks so much. They are doing more tests, and I've stopped until they have results. Perfect. That's the perfect thing to do, Sherry, is to make sure that they are understanding what's going on and they want to control it and handle it accordingly. Wow. We've been on here an hour. Things are moving along. Let's see if there's any additional questions. Let me check the phone here real quick, see if anybody has a question. Nope. Things are quiet on the phone front. And doesn't look like any additional questions initially right here on the chat box. So at this point, we are just about out of time. I want to thank you for being with me. And we've had a great day. I think there's been some good questions asked, certainly some good questions asked. It always takes us a couple minutes to get going. But thank you so much. Wave on to better health. Have a great day. We love you guys. Bye-bye.